The Sharks have already clinched the best odds in the draft lottery. They know they can stop losing, right?
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network, we cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today, the Sharks officially back-to-back, hashtag blessed, worst team in the NHL, as over the weekend they clinch the best odds going into the draft lottery. So we're going to talk about that, discuss the Sharks' inability to just keep up with the Flames as things got tighter down the stretch, and the walking mash unit that is your San Jose Sharks. Who could we see called up for the last two games of the season? And does that have any impact with the San Jose Barracuda? So let's start, of course, with the big news, the thing that we've been working towards all year long. The Sharks, back-to-back champions. Sort of. The Sharks, with the Blackhawks 5-4 shootout loss to the Jets this weekend, the Sharks officially clinched the worst team in the NHL again. If you're watching on YouTube, we have, boom, the beautiful draft simulator that we have shown a bunch of times on the show. But right, with 6 points difference, both teams have 2 games left between the Blackhawks and the Sharks. 6 point difference. It's impossible for the Sharks to match that. Beautiful 9-game losing streak by the Sharks here to really just drive home and clinch this bad boy without a doubt. So what does this mean for the Sharks, right? One, they cannot pick any lower than 3 in this year's draft, right? With the draft lottery odds, the Sharks have a 25% chance to get the number 1 overall pick. With that, they can't basically, right, if you recall, or if you're new, don't remember how the lottery works, right? They do a draft lottery for the first overall pick, right? And the Sharks have the most ping pong balls, or the most, not ping pong, but they have the most combinations of number, like ping pong balls, to win the draft lottery. Then they do a second one where you decide who picks basically to get picks number 2. Any team within the top 11. So right now, the Islanders, as we speak right now, have that last spot. Any team in the top 11 can basically win the lottery, which means get the first pick. You can't move up more than 10 spots, right? So if you're Columbus or Utah, and if one of those teams wins the lottery, you can only move up 10 spots. So if Columbus won, they could move up to 3, right? That's as high as they can go. So Sharks probably getting, like, realistically, probably getting either 1 or 2 in this draft. Like, it would take a lot. It would be a mathematical, like, small possibility, but small possibility that the Sharks will be picking 3rd in the draft. So they're going to get most likely one of Schaefer or Misa. You can put Martone and Higgins, and we will spend plenty of time this offseason debating who that player should be, right? Between those players, but right, the Sharks, you want to, I know there's plenty of people who don't like tanking, et cetera, but it's a necessary evil when it comes to team building, unfortunately. The best way to get, right, there's 3 ways to get players, right? You can sign players in free agency. Okay. But again, most of those players are going to be mid to late 20s, and you have to compete with everyone else. You can trade for players, which costs you capital, whether it's signing through through draft picks, or through other players, or you can draft and develop. And the path to sustainable success, right? And that's something we have preached multiple times on this podcast, right? Sustainable success. You don't want to be a flash in the pan. We're not trying to be a flash in the pan, right? You don't want to be the Kraken who make the playoffs one year and then spend the next 3 years missing the playoffs, right? You don't want to be that team that just, flash in the pan or just kind of makes it to the first round and doesn't do it. Like, we are trying to build. So we want to be the next Avs, the next Lightning, the next one of those teams that are in the mix every year. That is what you're working towards, right? Is to be one of those teams that is in the mix every year. And the best way to do that is to draft, develop, and identify a young core. And that is the process that the Sharks are working on right now. So you feel good about the way it's going, right? Eklund, who had an assist tonight, 41 assists. I saw that was the most assists by a Sharks player under the age of 22 in franchise history. That really quick. They didn't highlight it enough on the broadcast. And it wasn't until I watched the second time I watched the replay, but that play by William Eklund, just absolutely redonkulous of him, getting the puck and redirecting it backhand, it's behind the back redirection to Jan Ruda. Just those subtle, Eklund was feeling it tonight, absolutely feeling it tonight. Eklund's feeling it when you get the spinnies, and you got multiple spinnies from Eklund tonight. But Eklund, just good Lord, what a play that was! Just absolutely, that is a end of the year highlight type of play. Anyway, but yeah, you feel it, right? Eklund, foundational piece. Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini, feeling really good about where these guys are going, right? And what these guys are expected to be for the Sharks going forward. And you feel good about the prospect pool and where it's going. But again, right, you want to try to add one more of these guys before you feel like Celebrini and Smith and Askarov and all these guys are just going to start pushing you out of that kind of basement level talk here. And I know there's the Gavin McKinnon clip going around. I've said it before, and I'll continue to say, I think between Askarov, Celebrini, Will Smith, I just think the Sharks are just going to be too good to be in the Gavin McKenna talk next year, and especially with the cap space they have. Again, not making the playoffs next year, but I fully expect them to make a Ducks type of jump, right? Where you're picking 7th, 8th, 9th in the draft next year because your young talent is taking a big step forward. And I fully believe it. And that's going to be a big theme for this offseason is how do you kind of start to kind of build that, and what are you looking for? And that's kind of the big offseason theme is trying to make that Ducks type of jump next season, because I think you have a lot of the pieces in place already, right? And you don't want to continue, you need to start building here. So, but right, Misa, Schaefer, whomever you add to the pool, you feel really good about where the team's direction is heading, especially when you consider you have $40 million in cap space. You have the best prospect pool in the NHL. And you're going to add one more, hopefully the last crown jewel piece to it. And again, they're still going to be adding pieces, right? The next couple seasons and stuff, they're still going to be adding pieces in the 2026 draft when you have 2 first-round picks there. But hopefully this is the last full-on tank season, right? Where we're rooting for the losses. We're rooting, tankathon every night. Hopefully this is the last one. Because I don't know if I got another one. I'm joking, but it would be nice to put the tank commander hats back deep in the closet for a while, at least until the end of next season, when maybe we're looking at draft position a little bit there. But again, we're not looking at first overall pick. That's the hope. So speaking of first overall pick, right? Since the Sharks have claimed the number 1, they can still pick number 1 in the next multiple years, right? The NHL institute a rule that you can only move up twice in 5 years. Remember, the Sharks were the number one pick, had the best odds going into the lottery last year, and are doing it again. So they have not moved up, right? So theoretically, if the Sharks pick, right, they get the number one pick next year, just say, like, we'll say they're picking like 6th or go into the draft lottery with 6th, they're still eligible to move up and get Gavin McKenna. So maybe we'll get lucky. But yes, the Sharks can, like, they have not technically moved up as long as they stay, they'll be in their, either the number one slot going into the draft lottery. So we'll talk about this game, Sharks and the Flames, which very much like this Sharks just couldn't match a desperate Flames team as they were looking to keep their playoff lives, keep their playoff hopes alive. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more, experts ready to help take your business into the next level. Upwork gives flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. If you need help with a marketing campaign, someone who works in marketing in their day job, Upwork can connect with a freelance expert who delivers incredible results. Posting a job is free and simple, and within a day, you get multiple qualified candidates to choose from. Instead of hiring full-time, Upwork helps find affordable, top-tier freelancers to scale business efficiently. So visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork, Upwork.com, Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. All right, before we continue to talk more about this Sharks Flames game, of course, want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, perfect time to subscribe, even though the season is almost done, right? We got 2 games left. We made it. Off season, that's where we shine here at Locked On Sharks, right? $40 million in cap space, a projected top 3 pick in the draft, plenty, and a deep, some would say the best prospect pool. Plenty of fun stuff to talk about as we, again, work towards that sustainable success for the Sharks. So make sure you're following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. All right. Big takeaway from this game was Sharks, again, just couldn't, as things ratcheted up, and this has been a kind of a running theme with the Sharks, right, this season, except for you usually see it in the third period, but as things ratchet up, the Sharks just don't have the horses to kind of keep up with teams, right? And you have a Flames team that needed every point that they can get right now to stay in the playoff race. And if you watch my preview, I was like, I'm curious to see this first 5 to 10 minutes. Sharks played really well the first 5 to 10 minutes. The Wenberg line was rolling tonight. Like Eklund, like I mentioned earlier, was playing outstanding. Like everything you wanted, and then things just kind of went off the rail, right? And just you think about that first goal, right, where just a Henry Thrun unable to kind of eliminate his man on the boards there. Everyone just kind of slightly in the wrong spot, and not too much that Romanov could do there. So, sorry, that was the second goal, right? Uyghur got the first one, was just turnover in the, kind of a turnover in their defensive zone, couldn't get the puck out, and Uyghur just crushes one. But that's just kind of what happens with the Sharks, right? They just don't have enough horses to, as things get more intense, especially when you're playing big games like they've been playing recently against teams that really need the points. Sharks just couldn't find that extra gear to play spoiler tonight to the Flames. But it does make more intrigue on Tuesday night as the Flames Blues and Wild all play, and all three of them looking to either clinch or not get eliminated in the case of the Flames. So makes for better hockey. So I think us as the Sharks, we did the NHL a favor tonight by letting the Flames win. It's about the drama, kids. It's about the drama. So that's a joke. Anyway, I do like Tyler Toffoli's tonight, 30th goal of the season. Easily the best signing that the Sharks have made in a long time when it comes to free agents. Said it when they signed him, right? You're looking at 25 to 30 goals. Just put it down. Gets his 30th goal tonight. And you think back throughout the season, how many hit the post and how many could have been for Tyler Toffoli. Just keeps crushing it, man. Him and Wenberg, I know they're a little beat up. That line played really, really well tonight. All through kind of throughout, especially early in the game. But actually that line even throughout. So that line, we're not going to do this the whole way, but played 13-7, 16-11 shot attempts, 9-3 actual shots, 1 goal for 0.67 to 0.22 expected goals for, 5-4 scoring chances, 3-0 high danger chances. So that line was absolutely on fire tonight. Toffoli with a goal and an assist, just right. Adding just an adult, like a good hockey player, but just an adult. And I do think the Sharks this offseason are going to be looking for that next Tyler Toffoli, is who can come in and just be an adult in the room, especially when you have so many young players around. Gets the vibe, right? Toffoli 100% gets the vibe, right? But has been like that perfect fun uncle for the Sharks. So other than that, I think the Celebrini Smith Kovalenko line played okay tonight. I know they were on the ice for 2 goals against. They got a healthy dose. I know the Kadri line, that Kadri line was out all the time. Bordeleau, who made his season debut tonight, I thought he looked okay. It's a little bit tough with Zach Ostapchuk and Carl Grundstrom as your line mates. But I did notice with Bordeleau, right, is before very much kind of an outside kind of perimeter player. Tonight after spending, the last couple seasons in the AHL, definitely willing to kind of get his nose in there, kind of get into the dirty areas. He was in the in the crease or kind of in the slot area trying to get to those prime scoring chances. So, I'm not writing off Bordeleau after one game in the NHL this season with, again, look at his line mates here. So, yeah. Other than that, I think one more interesting thing. Power play, they had Lucas Carlson. No, sorry, not Carlson. They had Liljegren out there instead of Will Smith. They stopped running the 5-4. They had Liljegren out there instead of Will Smith. So just something to keep an eye on there. I still would like to see Will Smith on the top power play unit because Will Smith's really good. But just something to kind of keep an eye on there with how they try to kind of manage this and test things out going into the end of the season here. So, but yeah, like I said, you just saw, especially as the game wore on, right? The second kind of middle of the second period, the Flames just really put the pedal to the metal. The shot attempts in the second period were 25-10 in 18 minutes of 5-on-5 time in favor of the Flames, and 15-5 in the third period. The Flames were looking to put this team away. And then Dustin Wolf, he's really good, man. That's someone you're going to have to contend with for a really long time if you're a Sharks fan, as you have Dustin Wolf in your backyard, who grew up in your backyard. You had prime scouting. And yeah, he's going to be a Calgary Flame for a very long time. And dude has put this team on his back, right? That's the hope, though, with Askarov. That's the hope you have with Askarov. If he can potentially make a Dustin Wolf effect for you next year. And if you're like me and thinking that the Sharks do make that kind of jump, I think that's one of the big pathways forward is having a clear-cut answer at a great talent goal in Askarov, and I believe Askarov is that guy. So, yeah, because the Flames team on paper, like if without Wolf, they're not much better than the Sharks, right? If you look at all the like analytics and how this team scores, and like they're not much difference between the Flames and the Sharks, but they just have really high end goaltending right now. So that's gonna be it for this game. We're gonna look at the Sharks walking mash unit here as they have a back-to-back. They play Vancouver on Monday night and they play the Oilers on Wednesday. So look at some potential call-ups, kind of see how this maybe affects the Barracuda. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I like the in-shell variety, but if you like the no shells, that's cool too. I like just hearing the little crack. But both of them are a perfect grab and go snack for the busy days. They have plenty of delicious flavors to choose from. Throw a bag in your work bag or throw it in your desk at work right at like 2:30 snack time. You know what I'm talking about. So, and the great thing, nice, simple, easy snack, tons of protein. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right, before we finish up, of course want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, check out all new Locked On NHL Game Time. Every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. All right. So yes, Sharks walking mash unit. In this game alone, Jack Thompson left the game. This is the second game in a row where Jack Thompson has left the game. Zach Ostapchuk also left this game in the third period. Cam Lund didn't play tonight because of an illness. So you're hoping Lund can make it back in for Monday's game against the Canucks. So Klim Kostin, lower body injury, right? He is out right now as well. There's some hope he could return this season, but again, with 2 games left, and I think Klim Kostin and the Sharks are on their way to parting ways here. We'll see there. So that does open up some questions, right? Especially on the blue line. And I think let's start there, right? Because you have so many injuries on the blue line right now. As a quick reminder of who is not available. So for the Sharks, you have Vlasic, you have Liljegren, you have Jan Ruda, you have Henry Thrun, you have Lucas Carlson that are healthy-ish right now. Desharnais is on the trip, but we don't know his health right now. Of course, Mario Ferraro is done for the season, fractured ankle. Shakir Mukhamadullin also done for the season with, again, we don't know what it is, but I'm assuming it's a separated shoulder. So the Sharks are going to need a defenseman for Monday's game. Good thing is it's in Vancouver, so it's a pretty short trip. Looking at, right, if it's Jack Thompson who is out, you wonder if it's between Jimmy Schultz and Luca Cagnoni who probably gets the call up. The good thing for the Sharks is, or for the Barracuda, actually for both, Barracuda don't play until Friday. It's a noon game against the Calgary Wranglers. So whoever is going to beat, right, you play on Monday against the Vancouver Canucks, then you're back home. So no problem for any of the defensemen or anybody who gets called up here to miss a big games this weekend against Calgary, as the Barracuda try to kind of finalize their where they're going to be at in the playoff positioning. So yes, so I would like to see Cagnoni again, especially if you have Jack Thompson gone. Like Cagnoni makes sense for kind of a Jack Thompson replacement. I know Jimmy Schultz has also been I know he's been back, but remember he got hurt for a little bit, kind of banged up before he made his return with the Barracuda. So you wonder, especially with Schultz, how important he is. Not to say Luca Cagnoni is not important for the Barracuda, but giving Schultz a little bit of rest right now before the Barracuda kind of start their playoff run. You wonder if that might be something that they look to do. So I would like to see Cagnoni, one, because I like watching Luca Cagnoni play. I would like to see Cagnoni get the call up here too, and that would help maybe solve at least an attempt to solve some of your issues on the power play as well. So that would give you, if they don't feel like Jack Thompson's ready to go, and then gives Jack Thompson a little bit of rest, because Jack Thompson is also eligible to play with the Barracuda in the playoffs. So if you can kind of maybe shut down Jack Thompson a little bit, like this game, like I would like shut him down these last 2 games. Don't let him, like, he doesn't have to play this weekend against the Wranglers. And then he like basically gives him, 2 weeks to kind of get ready for the Barracuda's playoffs. So just saying, that's just thinking out loud here. So yeah, I'd like to see Cagnoni for the Sharks on the forward groups, right? So if Ostapchuk isn't available, you do have Cam Lund, who could, hopefully he's feeling well enough to be able to slide in here. So you're still very much like running pretty thin here for the Sharks. So among the forwards, I mean, of course, the one that makes the most sense is Danil Gushchin, who has been absolutely outstanding for the Barracuda this season. He made he made no comment when asked about it, being frustrated about not getting another chance on the Sharks this year. So I would like to see him get an opportunity here against at the end of the season. Right. I know Borla played tonight. Assuming Cam Lund's back in, maybe you can kind of give a Tyler Toffoli who hit that 30-goal mark, right? Or give a Wenberg who's we know is not 100% right now. Maybe if you shut one of those guys or both those guys down, to give a guy like Gushchin a chance here at the end of the season to see what he's got. So those are kind of the guys I would look at. Maybe if you want to bring up a big boy who's got some size and can play center, you have Patrick Giles, of course, who did play with the Sharks for a little bit, has looked really good with the Barracuda as well. So like those are a couple options, but I think the most deserving one is 100% is Gushchin. Maybe you could also bring up Ethan Cardwell as well. Kind of gives you a little bit more flexibility of where you can put him in the lineup as well. So those are the guys I would look at. Like I said, I think Cagnoni and Gushchin are the two that I'm rooting for to get called up if the Sharks need to call somebody up. But that's a lot of fun, and we know we're not allowed to have fun. You can only have 2 fun lines in the NHL. That's the rules, right? So 2 fun lines. Everybody else has to be grinders. So we'll see. We will have a preview, of course, for the Canucks game. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Those previews, YouTube exclusive, about 8 to 10 minutes where we talk about the game, get you, kind of get you ready for it. Look at who the Sharks are playing, all that fun stuff. So, but yeah, make sure you follow along wherever you get podcasts, watch on YouTube, follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until tomorrow, bye, friends.